Hey guys, it's Jinx Summer coming at you from my computer, and this is my roommate household. And, well, not household, my roommate house. Uh, you know what? This was supposed to be a tiny house. It really was. This was supposed to be a tiny house. That's what I initially thought in my head. And then I just kept building. And I'm mad at myself because I don't mean to make these like mid to smallish size builds, but I always do, even when I'm trying to make a big build or I'm trying to make, well, these are on the bigger side, is what I want to say. These are on the bigger side. Like they're on 30 by 20 lots and they take up the whole thing. Sorry, dying a little bit. Throat's a little dry. But this house isn't so big. Actually, it's really small. Um, and I feel like I don't take up so much space with this family because it's a lot of different people. It's not so much, you know, one particular person or anything. And for once, I don't go ham on the decorating just because there's not much room for you to go ham on. And so I tend to throw a lot of the objects out and put them in, like the backyard or, the what's it called? The like on the little terraces that they have, I guess is what you would call them. I guess little terraces. I don't know. But yeah, I throw them over there. I try and use as little CC in the house build as possible, just because I don't want. I want it's like if you wanted to download this house, you could. You might not have all of what's inside, but you can most definitely, have the shell at the very least. And of course, if you wanted to have, all the inside too, which I don't know. I feel like my particular furnishing style fits me and it works for me a lot because I'm extremely picky. I am crazy picky when it comes to furnishing. So I tend to gut houses and apartments and just renovate them myself just because I know what I want versus trying to play in someone else's house. I have never been able to do that. Even when I sucked at making houses, which I still do, I'm still learning a lot. But even when I sucked at making houses, I am like really, really bad. I feel like I'm much better now, but still not the best. So yeah. But yeah, it's actually really bad. I suck at this, definitely. Um, I decided to make these guys complete and total strangers, and I don't, what did I name this? Oh, I actually called it Jane Hollow because Harlow. Yeah, I called it Jane Harlow because I wanted it to be initially a very boring house on the outside, but I wanted it to be really cool on the inside. And I feel like what's really cool about this build is the people, not so much. Like for once, I think the creative sense a lot better. If I would have got the first twin in, then it would have been awesome. Um, the thing with the Sim family that I actually made this house for is they're not a typical Sim family. They're not a family, of a mom, a dad, and all this stuff like all of my other ones are. They are complete and total strangers, some of them. Some of them are complete and total strangers. Some of them have known each other for a very long time. I actually have a couple in this household as well, and they are on the brink of breaking up. You have no idea. They're just like sick of each other at this point, and they're just having a bit of issues. And I feel like they're trying really hard to, not think about their problems. So they're trying to get really into everyone in their house's problems because this apartment is actually his, but she just kind of like this apartment building is his, but she lives there too, and they live together. So, of course, obviously, they live together. So they're just kind of, it's like they kind of gave up on their own relationship just to, you know, be into, really, profiting off this apartment and being able to help the people who live here, because they do all live in the same house, they share the same space. They may not, agree on the same things, they may not come from the same backgrounds, but they are willing to like lend a helping hand, especially him. He's such a sweetheart. He's such a good person. Meanwhile, she just kind of, I don't want to say that she's opportunistic, but she most definitely realizes how good she has it with her boyfriend owning this apartment building and being able to live here, like free of charge. Like she does not get charged at all. And it's like she gets that that's a privilege, definitely. And does she milk it? I don't want to say that she milks. I don't want to really say that she just milks it, or that she's so into this relationship just because of what she can have. But from the feel of her as a person, I definitely get that vibe a little bit, just a little bit though. Um, Whether he knows it or not, I don't think so. I don't think he sees it like that. I just feel like he feels like their relationship is a little strained. And so instead of choosing to, try and fix it or anything, he is just all about trying to help like the kids that live with him pretty much, because all of them, they're actually a little bit older. They're still really young, but they're older than everyone that they live with for the most part. Um, there's a single mom who lives here, and her name's Laura, and her daughter is so cute. And she is the one who lives downstairs in the little pink room. Like literally, their room is so very pink and girly and just adorable, and it looks like her daughter picked out everything for it. Um, but yeah, she just, I feel like she is in hiding, and oh man, I'm gonna sneeze. I didn't sneeze. Yay! I stopped myself. Okay, but yeah, so Laura is pretty much separated slash left her husband, because not because her husband was just abusive or anything, but she just like left. Like she was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So she left her husband, and she ultimately decided to go ahead and, you know, live this life with her daughter by herself, because he wasn't necessarily a jerk or anything. That wasn't necessarily the issue. It's just he was never at home. So she felt like she could never connect with him in any way, and so she didn't want her daughter to feel that way. And so she just ultimately decided, "Hey, this ain't this is not gonna be us." And so she just picked up her stuff and left. And she's kind of in hiding from him because he's a very well known, Sim. He's a very well known man. He has like all these connections and da 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 and all this stuff. And so she once upon a time lived like this lavish life where she could afford everything. And it's like that's why in that room her daughter has everything, because for the most part, when it comes to her, her daughter comes first. Like her daughter is her main concern in this situation, as hard as it may be for her. And it's difficult. It's difficult raising kids. I mean, I genuinely don't know squat about it, but I do at the same time, because I have family members who have raised kids, and oh my gosh, or who are raising kids, and oh my gosh, I can't imagine. So that's genuinely those two story. And if you literally came from the Creative Sim to watch this, you are awesome. I love you. Thank you so much for watching both. If you've watched all of my Oasis Springs facelift videos, oh my gosh. I am so sorry. I ramble so much about nothing. And then I go on and talk about the builds and Sims and all of that stuff and just all of their stories because I ultimately want to play in a town where there's a story, and I kind of wanted to be able to record that process of me making it and me coming up with the ideas and all of that stuff. So I was like, let me just, record it while I'm doing it. I mean, I'm going to do it anyway, so I might as well just record it. So I do. And it amazes me how I have not gotten to building the actual, like, putting anything down. I just mostly put beds in the rooms just so I knew I could fit a bed in there. What's the point of that? And I think the first room I do is like the kitchen. And then I start on the restrooms. And the restrooms are so decorated because there's so much crap in them. Because how many people live in this place? Like seven, and their cat. And this is not anyone in particular's cat. Like this was a neighborhood cat that just, found his way in their home and in their lives. And everybody kind of helps to take care of it. So this cat has is like the most spoiled thing in the whole world because it has like five beds, and throughout the house, like you'll see, there's like three or four beds just everywhere for this cat, and it's hilarious because the cat's just like, I'm living my life. It's just I eat, and that's all that matters. That's all I need to do. I just need to eat, stay cute, and that's it. Yeah. So there's that, and also with the set of twins that live here, who Paris and London is what I named them. They have a bit of a past, like most people in this shared house do. Whereas, ooh, dang, I do not remember the names. The couple, they freaking grew up pretty well off. I mean, he solidly owns this place, so he is pretty freaking well off. Whereas his girlfriend, not so much, but she did grow up a little bit better off than Paris and London did. Paris and London grew up a little differently. They lost their parents really young, and so they've kind of always been. They actually tried to stay in their house as much as possible when they were like teenagers, and literally CPS basically got to them and was like, "Hey, you can't live in a house and whatnot by yourself. Like, you need an adult, da 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 da, all this stuff." So they went through like, the foster system, like being older kids, and it was kind of really, really sad. And they realized like that wasn't for them, and they never wanted to, have anybody feel like that or anything like that. So, of course, they put themselves into what they love the most, and that was for Paris. She loves people. And it's weird because, she was like their parents died when they were younger, and, they didn't have so many people around them. And I felt like that was when she was the most sad. Meanwhile, London, that's where she was the most happy. And I feel like they never addressed this between each other, but it was just like, I know like this is how you found, what you love to do and all that stuff, but I can't live my life like this. Like they never had that conversation. They genuinely really love each other and have such a strong bond with each other. It's it's crazy. And there's nothing wrong with it or anything. And the room downstairs is actually for the last facelift video that I made in the Creative Sim. I know I'm just like going on a whole tangent. I was talking about Paris and London, but yeah. Um, Give me a sec. I'll come back. I swear. What should we call it? Freaking. Oh, what is that guy's name? Finn. It's for Finn. The room downstairs, the extra room downstairs is for Finn. Finn is the baby daddy of the toddler from my last facelift video. And ha 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 ha. I love the koala chair. I will always use the koala chair. I'm sorry. I recently got something and it's like, he does look like a koala and I'm shook. And so I have like the koala keychain. I have this like koala keychain and I'm never gonna say this right. I say koya, koya. It's like koya, I think is how you say it. I don't know. Koya, koya, koya. I think that's how you say it. Okay, we're not gonna get into how I mispronounce so many things, but yeah, koya is koya because I'll say koya, and my friend's like, "Why are you adding an I?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Anyways, back to Finn. Finn is the broke down, you know, guy where he is kind of in this process of finding out who he is because he don't know, but he has a daughter and she's a toddler and lo and behold lives in this shared house with this single mom who like escaped and whatnot and she like, escaped an abusive relationship and whatnot. Meanwhile his girlfriend died and it's like completely different setups, completely different lives and all that kind of stuff, but it just every time he looks at that little girl, it makes him think of his and how he can't go visit her right now because the grandmother freaking hates his guts. And she does. She very much hates his guts. And he just wants to be able to see his little girl. He wants to see her grow up. He wants to be there for her. But, the grandma's getting in the way of him really seeing her in any way. And I think that's the sad part about it. Uh, what am I doing in this? Oh, okay. I'm putting like little stuff around the place. I was choosing to put vents, and then I forgot that I didn't put a potty in there somewhere, so I put that. Very random. I'm like, why am I not in one room? Like, what's wrong with me? What's going on here? So, yeah, I I don't know. I I feel like I could talk about builds, but I choose not to for whatever reason. I feel like it's because I make it so fast. But I can talk about builds now that I know the difference and like what's going on and everything. Just yeah, because I figured out that I wasn't rendering my videos before I, you know, did my voiceover. So that's why in my first ever, I think like few speed builds, my like what I'm talking about isn't going with what is happening, and that's why I figured it out. That's what that is. Uh, so yeah. Okay. Now that I've told you guys about the room downstairs and Finn and all of that stuff, what he has going on, I feel like Finn's fighting a lot on what he should and shouldn't do, and so he's trying to get into music because it's like a little escape for him. It's like the only time he can't it's his only escape from, not being able to, you know, see Chelsea or be around Chelsea or, talk to Chelsea and all that kind of stuff. Because normally she was like the one that he would go and talk to when things got hard or things got rough or things would suck. And, like they were very, very happy together. And crazy thing about it is he started to have like small-ish conversations with her sister. And if you don't know, Chelsea's the identical twin of, oh dang, I just realized I made twins in both of these households. But yeah, there's the best twins, and then there's these set of twins, and these set of twins are so different. They're not like Chelsea, and they're like Chelsea and her sister were close, but not as close as Paris and London. Paris and London are super close. Like they are dangerously close, which is why they don't mind sharing this really, really tiny room, paying this, certain amount every single month for it. And it's fine for them. They're like, it's okay, we'll live our lives. We'll be fine. because, there's Paris, who's more of the socialite, and London, who's a little bit more of, you know, the musician. And that's kind of what draws in, you know, dang it, I keep forgetting his freaking name. The guy who owns the place, that's what drew him to those two because he saw London like playing her violin like in the street. And he was like, no, there's no freaking way. This is your life. You have to come live in this house because I got the space. You just bring your butt and you're cool. And that's just kind of who he is as a person. He's a very good person. Meanwhile, oh my gosh, really, a whole honking horn. Um, Meanwhile, there's also, like a little pet because I do have the my first pet pack. I got it and the fitness one on a whim, just out of nowhere. So I really wanted to make a house with the fitness one, but it's kind of hard because there's not a ton of stuff, but there is a lot of stuff. And some of the stuff doesn't necessarily go together. It is super, super, super modern, which isn't really fitting the way that I want this family to be put together. So, yeah. I mean, I feel like I really tried something different with this house because I didn't let myself go too crazy with the clutter, but at the same time, I still wanted to give it its own little personality and its own little, look and vibe. So, yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think. I want to know what other people think of the places that I build. I will say the twins' room is super dark. Their room is super dark, despite it being at the front of the house where all the freaking windows are. It's kind of sad, but I think I was building in the dark. Yeah, I was. I was building in the dark right now. I didn't even notice because I just spent so long building and furnishing. It was no joke. I spent a long time building, but I spent less time furnishing because I was trying to hurry up and finish, which I mean is fine, but I think I really want to pre-record a couple of videos before I jump up and do this again. So thank you guys so much for watching. The screenshots are about to start, so I guess I'll let you guys go. Let me know what you guys thought of this family because I love them, honestly. They're a very weird bunch to put together, but they were what I felt like seemed to work in this place and in this space so much more than anyone else. So I hope you guys liked. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time on my computer. Bye.